I may go to Gorka. Gorka is here to complain about the rhino. Gorka. Gorka! We are here to complain about the rhinos that sold us out. These, yes, those senators betrayed you, Gorka.
From North Carolina, Congressman Dan Bishop, it's good to have you
Hello!
back on the show.
I'm glad to be here.
Thank you, Doctor.
Hold on, I think I have one of his constituents.
Hey, I wrote for Dan Bishop. The Bishop!
Gorka, I'm glad to be with you. Thanks for the trip down memory
Wait, might be with you? What kind of show is this?
I do not approve.
lane with that little...
All right, we'll talk about the FBI latest revelations in a few
Female body inspectors, come on now.
minutes. But first things first, I have had far too much fun in a kind of dark, dank way.
Yes, he is. You are a dank feller.
Following your team on Twitter because you just...
Yes, they love following how dank you are.
Or, you just launched your team onto the task of reading the 4,100-page abortion of...
Wow. So 12 of these senators voted for abortion. Crazy.
Of this this spending bill that has passed in the Senate moments ago. Then it's going to go to the House.
It already passed the House. Time has passed. 4 days later.
Can you just share with those who don't follow you on social media?
Yeah, I don't follow you on social media. I'm fine out here just staring at you through the bushes. Go, Bishop, go.
Some of the truly, utterly outrageous things you
Tell
and your
me.
team have found
Terrible.
in this $1.7
awful.
trillion bill.
Hideous.
I'd be glad to, Dr.
Yeah.
Gorka, at risk.
Dr. Gorka, Moon River. Hey, man, I would get a second opinion.
You started off by saying it offers people some hope, and I'm afraid this segment's not going to do it. But
Well, that's what I like is people who can laugh through the hopelessness.
my folks really worked hard. We all worked hard to get through
Well, reading is fun, dumb, and mental.
that monstrosity. Bill clocks in at really $1.85 trillion, including the $15 billion plus of earmarks.
1.85 trillion, and there's only that many 18 billion earmark at 18. Run that by me again.
Monstrosity. Bill clocks in at really $1.85 trillion.
$1 trillion, okay.
Including the $15 billion plus of earmarks.
15, wait a minute. 1.85 trillion and 15 billion of it are earmarks. Earmarked for what?
4,800 plus pages to read.
Well, obviously, would it be? I got a question for you. Let's say I come to you and I say, look, I need $1 billion of your money, and they say, where's it going to go? What are you going to do with it? And I'm like, I'm gonna make more money off of it. I'm gonna do some good work. Like what? I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna put it in this pocket. I'm gonna write a piece of paper that says it's in my pocket. Is that enough? Is that good? No, you want me to be more specific? Well, how fucking specific do you want me to be? Do you want me to be down to the tens of millions or down to the ones of millions or the hundreds of thousands? How? Because that's going to be, you take $1 billion and where are you going to put it and what you going to do with it? That's a lot of paper. So it stands to reason you got something that's over almost $2 trillion. Going to be a lot of, I'm surprised the shit isn't 9,000 pages.
And people ask if you read it all, and we sort of go through it at lightning speed to try. It's a big stack of paper.
Hi, stupid. Hey, even I know this, man. The committees and subcommittees and the budgetary committees and then all the committees that are assigned to each element of the government work out their budgetary costs and needs for the overall budget all fucking year long. And then they argue back and forth and then they present how much it's going to cost the budget for DHS, the budget for DOJ, the budget for fucking border shit or whatever else, and they all come down there and they say, this is how much money we need, and then they take it to the budgetary committee, and the budgetary committee fits it all together and says, okay, we gotta shave a little bit here, a little bit there, but basically it's the committee stuff. So it's not our fault you don't listen to your own fucking committee members, man.
We've got a staff, really 5. I guess I said earlier 4 offline to you, but so it's really 5 folks and me. And you know, you mentioned the FBI and what they've been doing. We've got big hopes to undertake serious investigation of the FBI and DOJ. FBI just got an $11 billion budget appropriation in this mass bill, a $500 million increase, which the Biden administration didn't even request.
Let's just stop there, because
they didn't have to request it, dumb fuck. It's proportional to the costs. Hey, here's a good idea. Why don't you pretend inflation isn't real?
I heard this, I was shocked. So the FBI...
Yes, the FBI...
with 18 GOP senators, was given more money than they even asked for from the Democrats.
No. I have to deal with this directly. So, no. They have their budget that they proposed, and then in the budgetary process, they add on a percentage based on rising costs for certain things, including vehicles, flights, all the other stuff that, if any other like elements of the stuff that they use on a budgetary level, from office equipment to to transport to like hiring a volume of people for particular tasks, that increases based on the rest of the economy. That, how much stuff costs is outside what they would ask for when they present their budget at the beginning of the year, what they presume to need, because shit has changed between now and then. Oh, Shadow Woman, thank you so much. Lovely.
Massively more, plus funding for a $376 million new headquarters.
Yeah, and how are the Russians going to be able to point listening devices at that building if they build a new space that is resilient to those kind of attacks and espionage?
It boggles the mind.
That's because you're stupid. It's not because it's difficult to understand. I mean, let's be abundantly clear. This is not high math at all. This is pretty fucking basic. Hey, guess what? How much did what was your cable payment last year? And at the beginning of the year, you might sit around in January and you're like, okay, let's budget for the year, what we're going to do, as far as salary and what's coming in. And here's what our cable package costs or our internet package costs. And we'll see if we can, keep that at one point. And then somewhere around June, the cost of it goes up because of the change in the package. And you can either lower that and lower what you get, which in law enforcement wouldn't be advisable. But on a personal level, you might go, I don't need the sports channels, or I don't need these channels or whatever. But let's say you need all of them for your work. So your budget for the year that you presented is short 5%. Now extrapolate that across a myriad of different areas on an enormous organization like the FBI that does everything from stopping human trafficking and finding serial killers and stopping counterfeiters and all kinds of shit that they go after. And again, the FBI itself, for all this clamoring that they're only torturing Jan 6 people and annoying Donald Trump, that they suddenly fucking hate him. The rest of the time, they're these people go to their jobs, operate all the time, never knowing, or I would say they probably know, but they don't give a shit that had the FBI not done its job last year and the year before and the year before that and the year before that, they might be killed by someone who is out on the street just murdering randos or doing whatever the fuck. But thankfully, they were taken out by the FBI years ago and incarcerated.
It boggles the mind. Okay, so let's cut to the chase. Let's talk about the FBI.
Isn't that what you were just doing? What, that they're not worth it? It's so difficult. Tell me how they're going after Donald Trump, and yet they're just letting everyone else off the hook. What is Hunter Biden's laptop?
I've had
I've had Gorka.
Veterans of the Bureau. So first things first, if you don't know my background, I worked with the FBI for many years before I joined the administration.
Yes, it used to be way worse.
I trained them on things like Al-Qaeda and ISIS, thousands of officers, intelligence analysts and special agents. This is hard for me to say, but if the FBI knocked on my door today, I would tell them to pound sand and talk to my attorneys. I've had...
Me too.
Well, yeah, because you're engaged in criminality.
Oh, wow. I've had 20...
Me too, he says. Well, yeah, dude, you're one of the people, Dan Bishop, I think, is one of the people who was actually coordinating with the Stop the Steal people.
23-year FBI veterans on my show say it has to be disbanded.
Yeah, but again, hold on one second. I don't know where'd my other earpiece? There it is. I gotta put these guys in here, otherwise. Why were they let go? Because they were political, because they were pricks, because they weren't following the rules, because they were going rogue and trying to protect people like Donald Trump. That's why they're former FBI.
Can this nation, can we, when we know that they're colluding with big tech to undermine the free flow of information prior to an election, can that entity be allowed to stand, Congressman?
Well, Dr. Gorka, people have said abolish the FBI. You need an institution that can effectively enforce federal law.
Right.
And punish wrongdoers.
Right. Unless it's you, in which case they got to go.
But something's got to change, and I think really you have to begin to look at the appropriation. I'm not sure that entity needs $11 billion.
Well, yeah, you want to make it the funding so narrow that they don't dare go after political people, and if they ever try, they're afraid to do it because they'll lose their funding, which is exactly what you want. That's what you want is representative government manipulating law enforcement and scaring them that you'll take away their vehicles and their guns and their ability to fight crime on the regular if they dare come after you for criminality. That's not corruption at all.
The FBI alone, leave aside the DOJ, which is bigger, and that's why it's so, the one consequential thing that we certainly can do in the House with a small Republican majority is to conduct serious investigations, to pursue them doggedly.
Knock yourself the fuck out. Nobody cares.
To find out to lay bare all of the things that they're doing in great detail. But that implies that you're doing that for a reason and that you're going to follow through. And
he's still talking about Republicans, right?
You're going to reform the agency. I think it's, there are a lot of different ideas. I've articulated a few of them. I think we've got to see where it leads, but we've also
gibberish politispeak.
Also got to change the status quo in Washington, because if the Senate, Mitch McConnell and 18 Republicans are going to jam us, closing the debate before it's ever been opened, where are we going to go? Americans got to be dismayed about that.
I think you should probably join the Forward Party. Good luck.
Is it lonely to be Dan Bishop? And is it going to be very lonely after January and Kevin McCarthy becomes the speaker? What's it like to actually care about these things on Capitol Hill?
Yeah, because Gorka wouldn't know.
I will tell you, Dr. Gorka, candidly, that I am disheartened about how many of the Republicans are inclined to continue along with the status quo exactly as it is.
Yeah.
I know folks hearing that are desperate because they've all been trying to pay attention, trying to come out and vote for
trying to pay attention
people, and they listen to a lot of people talk a lot of conservative rhetoric, but man, it's just not playing out up here. And
yeah, well, it's a swamp, you know what I mean? And luckily you had somebody like Trump come in and he drained the swamp, and that wasn't, oh no?
I will tell you that I weigh very carefully. You said when Kevin McCarthy becomes Speaker on the 3rd of January, I haven't decided what I'm going to do. And it's a small majority, and he's going to have to get the votes if he's going to be Speaker.
Ooh.
But
shots fired.
there's going to have to be a change in which we say we're not going to just let the status quo continue. And the status quo is very resilient.
Listen to this man. His hesitance in his voice is very interesting because that means he's not slick. He's not pat. He's not lying to you, and he's serious about he's still thinking about.
No, he's just aware he's out on a fucking like free-floating chunk of ice on his lonesome. That is also the voice of insecurity. That is also the voice of being in an ideological minority that you know yourself doesn't make sense.
What he's going to do on January 6th. He's Rep Dan Bishop on Twitter. He's also J Dan Bishop on Twitter. The website is danbishop.house.gov. To the point you just made, I had a retired lady just call in who say...
Just a retired lady. Totally real.
Hello, I am retired lady from Ohio. My name is Sylvia, and I am not at all Russian living in Macedonia. And I wish they not pass Omnibus and got all military immediately.
In the last election, she gave as much as she could to 8 GOP candidates. And after today's vote, she feels betrayed. What do you say to those people?
Sorry, I get excited whenever their people turn on them because they're either, dipshits or just don't like normalcy.
Wow.
How do you even talk her down? This imaginary woman who called the show maybe she didn't.
Asked me earlier, Dr. Gorka, what is in the mind of the senators, and I don't talk to senators a lot. They're sort of the House of Lords. I mean, I have occasion to once in a while. There are people.
Well, they just don't return your phone calls. Let's be honest.
We do more of it. Chip Roy talks to Mike Lee a lot.
Really shocked.
I actually asked Jim Jordan this on the floor just a little bit ago. What do these?
Where is your jacket? And did you notice somebody was trying to like fiddle with that dude with like those? Yeah, I think that guy's a kid fucker. Why aren't you even looking? I'm pointing. Why aren't you even looking? Is it a reflex of yours? I was saying that to Jim Jordan the other day.
What are these guys thinking? What is in their head that they think this is acceptable? The only thing, he didn't give this direct answer. Somebody else suggested that they think, well, the House has got these rambunctious folks and it's a small majority and they think there's going to be hard to do business over
Small minority
here. So they're just doing this because they're not sure they don't want to have the government shut down. Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
That would be also a betrayal because.
No, it wouldn't. Because a small minority who's vocal deciding to shut down the entire U.S. fucking government because they even amongst Republicans, they can't be the motivating voice in a group. Somehow they believe they deserve more control over the process than they have fucking earned.
Because the people elected this majority in the House. It's very precious. They ought to make sure that let's get to the task and make things work out. But to take...
Oh yeah? Like what? Pop up a bill. What are you going to do? We're going to investigate the FBI. Cool. What else? Hunter Biden laptop. Yeah? And I mean, I guess Biden's already taken the lead pipes out of the country, so you don't have to do that. Infrastructure's handled. Rural broadband's good. That we passed a budget. So what's the hard work? The fuck does the House have to do now? What? Honestly, I'm sure there's rudimentary stuff that has to be done, but this is most of the big ticket items. As far as like non-policy driven things that would fundamentally alter things like adding a single payer system to the ACA or those kind of things. Anything shy of that has already been fucking done.
The easy way out of jamming $1.8 trillion on the people and blowing up more federal spending, drive more inflation, do damage. They got DEI provisions all over this 4,800 page document. Every Democrat priority has been acceded to.
Well, we did win, and there was no red wave. And if it wasn't for you guys, gerrymandering a couple of districts with a dude who, by the way, can we look at this dude? Hold on one second. This is my favorite new. Where would it probably be the best? I guess we'll try like as far as stories, like where it's available. The dude who won Republican House member, new freshman House member, totally lying about his background. Ran as an openly gay. Here you go. This is George Santos. This guy. So George Santos ran as an openly gay Republican, sort of bragging about never experienced any discrimination in the Republican Party. It's a big tent. It's an open party and yada yada. Turns out he was married to a woman until he started running. Shortly after making history, the first openly gay non-incumbent Republican elected to Congress. Publication found nothing to support his claims that he graduated from Brooke College or attended New York University, worked for Citigroup and Goldman Sachs, founded a charity called Friends of Pets, lost 4 employees in the June 2016 Pulse nightclub shooting, that his Nazi grandparents escaped the Holocaust, that he lives at a registered address in New York City, and that his mother was in the World Trade Center during the September 11th terrorist attacks. Documents obtained by the Daily Beast also suggest he may have been married to a woman until 2019, even though he had previously told USA Today that he had never experienced problems over his gay sexual orientation for the last decade. Initially, his lawyer blasted the Times report, saying a shotgun blast of attacks were attempting to smear his good name with these defamatory allegations. It's just true, though. I mean, they're either true or they aren't. I mean, you either went to a college or you didn't. It's not even about, like, what a good student you were. George Santos represents the kind of progress the left is so threatened by: a gay, Latino, first-generation American, and Republican who won a Biden district in overwhelming fashion by showing everyday voters there's a better option than the broken promises and failed policies of the Democratic Party, his lawyer's statement said. To the people of New York 3, I have my story to tell, and it will be told next week. I want to assure everyone that I will address your questions, and I will remain committed to delivering what I ran on: public safety, inflation, education, and more. Happy holidays to all. The Republicans are floating the idea that this guy is going to be sworn in, allowed to vote on Kevin McCarthy, to vote for Kevin McCarthy as Speaker, and then they're going to ask him to resign. Yeah. Was his wife named Jenny? He's everything all at once.
And so that lady who's given her precious hard-earned money, all the American people, as hard as they've worked, they're going to have to double down, and they're going to have to throw out Republican elected officials.
All right, don't threaten me with a good time. This is awesome. This is gorgeous.
Who betrayed them?
Which is everybody except this asshole, I suppose.
It's really that simple.
It is simple. In deference to Golka.
They're going to have to follow it, and they're going to have to follow through.
Huh?
All right. You have given me hope that there are at least people like you on Capitol Hill. After you've made your decision on January the 3rd, can we have a longer discussion here on America First with you, Congressman?
Oh, so he hasn't decided whether he's going to vote for Kevin McCarthy for Speaker? So what's the holdup? Why can't you commit? What's going to change? Is the dude going to be a different person in the next week and a half?
It's always a pleasure, Dr. Gorka. You're
That's okay. So he is a lying politician.
one of the best fighters, and you've pointed the way. And
what?
And there are more. And courage begets courage. I'm counting on that. We're going to make it happen, and I'd love to talk to you about.
Make what happen? You don't even. Courage begets courage, motherfucker. You don't even know if you're going to vote for Kevin McCarthy yet. Like, he's not new.
Whatever the outcome is when we get to that.
All right.
Whatever my vote is when it happens, it's an organic thing. You know what I mean? But I vote for Speaker like I vote, like I sneeze. It just comes up, and then if you hold it, it'll blow your brains out. It's this.
Courage does beget courage.
Oh God, shut up. All right, that's the end of that. You're watching Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. By the way, Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy Hanukkah. Happy holidays to everybody. I'm so glad you're spending this little bit of time with me. I'm going to take the day off tomorrow because it's Christmas Eve and family's here. So I will be doing a best of on the radio show. But like, subscribe, give it a thumbs up if you feel like supporting the show on our days off. Please do. Venmo's a great way to do it. You can subscribe, and that's free. And just do that.